Hi, I'm LadyJenevia, and today we're talking about Gen V Episode 4, entitled The Whole Truth. Do you like how it takes a while for you as the audience to realize that title is a play on words?
Ugh.
Being that this is the first Gen V review I'm doing where I only have one episode to cover, I figured that the most efficient way to go through things is in sections based on characters. Going through things sequentially would inevitably make me feel discombobulated because of how much jumping around there is to do in this large ensemble of characters. The guest of the hour is Tech Knight. This was the character I had previously hinted at when talking about the show's comedy. He's a celebrity and a prime example of the sort of thing a certain chunk of students at Godolphin University can expect from their future. If you all remember, there are these two separate departments or branches of the school, and one of them is for people who get more training in acting so that they can become a more entertainment-driven moneymaker than those who fight crime for VOD. Tech Knight, weird name by the way, he has an original series on VOD's streaming platform called VOD Plus. He's got the ability to read people. He's more or less a human lie detector, so he can do investigations like he's part detective, part journalist, and part sleazebag. What I liked most about having Tech Knight be a guest in this episode is seeing how this unexpected game of cat and mouse unfolded between him and Dean Shetty. Full disclosure here, when I was watching the episode for the first time, I did not know Dean Shetty was going to get herself out of the situation. I thought she was done because I just didn't know how she would be able to best him when he tells her that she will in fact be the one he sets up to take the fall for everything that's been going wrong at Godolphin University. But this is exactly the sort of thing I had in mind when I said in my first review about Gen V that Dean Shetty is a formidable villain, and people really don't realize how dangerous she is until it's too late for them. Tech Knight even said outright that she's just a regular human. Without superpowers, there is always this lingering question of how she can hold her own when dealing with people with superpowers. To be fair though, I think it's very different for her to be in this environment where she's dealing with young, developing supes that are more emotionally vulnerable than if she were to be put into the main building of VOT where we have seen the regular series take place with the boys. That's a very different battle for her to fight. At Godolphin University, all these kids are going through a hard time. We're now officially halfway through the season, so you can see it with someone like Marie, for example, who has had this traumatic adolescence and is desperate to succeed at the school so that she will not be locked up the way that one girl was in episode 1. That reveal at the end of the episode, though, the one with Tech Knight, we really needed that. I was feeling sad about my favorite characters having to suffer, as is often the case in this universe. And we needed something silly and ridiculous, like a montage of Tech Knight going after every hole he could find. Next up, I don't really want to talk about them for long, Andre and Cate. Now that the pairings have made themselves known, I can at least say this much. Andre and Cate are my least favorite couple of the three. I'm not saying it's a contest, but if it was, they're at the bottom of my list. Bronze medal. Really, what it comes down to is that it never feels like they get a moment to just exist in the romantic vibes. As a romance fan, I want to luxuriate in those romantic vibes. I know that everyone on the show is sad and struggling, but it never feels like these two being together offers any real substantial reprieve from that suffering, or at least not enough of one. I haven't seen the last 2 episodes of this season, so maybe they will end up winning me over in the end, and I reserve the right to change my mind, but at least for the time being, it feels like they don't get enough joy out of being with each other for me to be able to feel joy in watching them be together. Hopefully I explained that well enough. I didn't want to just leave it at the vibes aren't vibing, though that more or less is the summarized version of my feedback on them as a couple at this moment. It's interesting to me that Andre is struggling under the pressure as much as he is. I know that we previously saw him partaking in using a bong as a coping mechanism because his best friend died right in front of him, and His blood rained down on him like it was a Lady Gaga art piece, but it's quite a 180 to be the one leading the charge to rescue Sam. You came up with the plan, you sought out Emma, and now all of a sudden you're spiraling again. I need Andre to get it together. Or you know what? I would actually love to see more of the core friendship group coming together. That's really something I noticed when watching my press screeners of the first 6 episodes. I became a lot more invested once the characters were less separated from one another and more so forming this team and friendship group. I want everyone to be in the same room. I think I've finally cracked it. Andre doesn't know how to handle this situation because he's trying to carry the weight of it on his own, and what he really needs to do is rely on the power of friendship to get him through it. Friendship is what will help you overcome all of this. Is that not the thesis of this entire show? That's what I've gotten out of it so far. That's why I loved that last scene where we had everyone going and trying to find Sam in order to help him. But before we talk about Sam, let's talk about the new romantic development. Marie and Jordan. I don't know what anyone else was thinking when watching this show as it's airing, but when I binged my press screeners, I didn't know that this was where they were going. After the fact, once I was going back to look through the promotional material again, I was able to see that you could literally see Marie and Jordan get together if you go through that promotional material frame by frame. But I hadn't done that before watching my press screeners. I wasn't trying to have the whole thing spoiled before I watched it for the first time. Also, in hindsight, it's even more iconic of a prelude to them getting together romantically that they tag-teamed to destroy Rufus, the so-called psychic who's played by that guy from Supernatural whose name I don't remember. I love seeing karma happen so completely. I only wish that the boys had this same approach to predatory men instead of keeping the Deep alive after all these seasons. Seriously, why is he still around? The show is worse by having him still be there. Anyway, hopefully Rufus doesn't have any sort of magical healing powers. Let him suffer. Let his wound fester. It's what he deserves. For as menacing Tech Knight was to our group of heroes, I do like that he facilitated Marie finally making some sort of public declaration about what really happened with Golden Boy and that she validated Jordan as a hero. One question I do have, though, that's still unresolved. You know how Dean Shetty told Tech Knight to not go near the top 5 and then she ended up blackmailing him into obeying that order? That doesn't really change the fact that you have this room full of university students who heard Marie's confession of what really happened. And students gossip. All of them probably have social media accounts that they would love to post some gossip on to get some engagement, new followers. It only takes one of those students to run their mouth, and then that story is out. And yes, I'm sure Vought would find a way to spin it in their favor, but that also doesn't change the fact that it feels like a bit of a loose thread that needs to be addressed in the story at some point. And maybe it will. We'll just have to wait and see. As for Marie and Jordan, clearly there's more to come from their relationship because you ended the episode by playing Missy Elliott's Work It. That's not exactly a breakup song now, is it? Let's keep the romance coming. I'm intrigued. I want to watch it unfold. Speaking purely on a technical level, though, I find this to be a really interesting plot to bring to life because Jazz Sinclair has to build romantic chemistry with 2 completely different actors, and I'm very interested to see if it will feel like it's the same person when she's acting with 2 different performers. Finally, let's talk about my babies, Sam and Emma. Are all of you seeing the vision? Do you see what I see? They have what everyone else wants. Flow.
Flow is flow.
Emma wakes up at this old drive-in where Sam has taken her because she saved him by running through the skull of a sadistic guard after he saved her by putting her up on a shelf so that she wouldn't be electrocuted. When you also remember how the episode ends with her getting big and grabbing hold of him so that he wouldn't hurt anyone, including himself, clearly this is going to be the cycle. They're just going to keep saving each other, and I'm here for all of that because you know what that is? Romance. That's what I'm here for. You thought I was here for capes and blood? Edna Mode already taught us decades ago, no capes. 2023, we're fully embracing a revival of romantic storytelling when it's done well anyway. An underrated detail about Sam and Emma's relationship that I personally love is how much laughter there is. Sam's just being his authentic, goofy self and effortlessly making Emma laugh. And this is what I meant before about what I was lacking from Andre and Cate's romance. Sam and Emma's individual character stories have so much heavy pain and drama. Sam has spent, well, we don't know how many years being imprisoned and experimented on. Emma's mother taught her how to purge and obsessively micromanages the size of Emma's body. But when Sam and Emma are with each other, they're just two people who like each other and are being really sweet to one another. They're really good at observing each other and staying aware and empathetic. Sam notices how Emma is often dismissive of compliments, so clearly she's got some self-esteem and body issues, no thanks to her nightmare of a mother, and he's got whatever situation is happening with the children's television show that he's seeing in his mind. Let me know in the comments, by the way, what your theories are about Sam's powers and his visions, because this is one of those things that I still have a lot of questions about, even though I've made it all the way up to episode 6. If we all remember, back in The Boys season 3, Black Noir was shown to have these visions of animated characters, and I'm curious about whether or not Sam's visions have any sort of connective tissue to that, or if it's merely a coincidental parallel of struggling soups with visions of childish entertainment in their minds. I don't even fully know what these visions are for Sam, in the sense that, is this just a way of being more artistic and entertaining to the audience of the show, where you get to have a fresh new visual spin? Or if there's something else to what Sam is seeing in the storytelling sense. I don't really have any clear theories at the moment, just a whole lot of questions. Anyway, overall, I just love how supportive and reassuring Sam and Emma are of each other. There's the large scale thing of them saving each other, but it's also observable in these smaller exchanges that convey emotional intimacy. Him reassuring her when she expresses guilt over doing a murder, and him being so open with his emotions is really sweet. You can see how grateful he is to her for saving him, and this is a huge deal. He's been imprisoned there all that time, and him expressing his fears that he will do something wrong and cause her to leave, but she's just so steady and unwavering and telling him that she will stay with him. And even when he's having an episode of children's television playing in his head, apparently, she doesn't judge him. She just asks questions. She wants to make sure that he's okay. There's no judgment. And then, of course, what I said at the end, she was the only one that could calm him down, albeit momentarily, since Andre had to go make a mess of the situation. But you know what happened? Emma was the one to save the day. Exactly. Get your spaghetti and get your man, Emma. I love that for her. I love that for them as a couple. And I love that for me as the viewer who's honestly at this point just here for the good romance. Does anyone want a proper Sam Emma video essay? I can't work on it right now because this is being pre-recorded, but by the time I get back from what I'm doing offline, maybe, just maybe, if other viewers are feeling the same romantic vibes that I am, then I'll see what I can do. Anyway, thank you all for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more weekly coverage of Gen V. We will be back next week to talk about episode 5.